Found that you can win more when you surround yourself with more winners. I found that putting yourself in the environment of motivational, inspirational personnel, people that just want shit out of life, it's addictive.
Absolutely.
God gave me three things that every talented, gifted, or skilled person needs in their life. You have to stay sharp, stay current, and stay humble. If you have a talent, whatever it is, whatever area of expertise, you've got to stay sharp, which means you continually develop the skill. Don't get content and say, I'm good already, I don't need nothing else. No, you have to keep getting better. Staying current means I watch what's happening around me. And then the third thing is when God elevates you and you start making a whole lot of money and progress and influence off of your skill, your talent, and your gift, you got to stay humble. Don't you get cocky. Don't get caught up in that stuff. Stay humble.
Listen. Hey, you guys. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Ladybug Show. I am your host, Latasha Rosier Balin, aka Latasha Ladybug. And I am so excited, as always, to be with you guys every single Tuesday, here to empower, educate, motivate, and activate your next level. And today's inspiration was really brought to you guys by surrounding yourself with winners, right? People that know more than you. Because the goal in life is for us not to remain the same. We have to grow each and every day. And the only way for us to grow, you guys, is by getting around other people that are at a level that you want and aspire to grow to. So, with that being said, today, we want to definitely activate your next level when it comes to educating you about a topic that a lot of us really have heard about, but are just not aware, right? We all one day will reach our demise, right? We're going to see our maker at some point. And we have to stop. Let me show this here. This is what we have to stop, y'all. We got to stop the Help Bury Me GoFundMe pandemic. It is a pandemic right now. People are not educated about how to get themselves with not only some life insurance, but some insurance to help you get through the next phase of your spirituality and help your family be in a place where they can bereave instead of worrying about how they're going to actually bury you. But beyond that, I have a young lady that really has been teaching me so many things just on today about life insurance. All of us feel like life insurance is just, for our burial, right? But man, it's so much more that we need to know about and educate ourselves on. So not only are you guys going to be educated today, I am going to be educated today right with you. So we're going to talk about how you can live before death. We're going to talk about how you can gain some wealth through life insurance policies, you guys. There are so many other communities, quote unquote, that have definitely achieved this success through life insurance. And now it's our time to get on board with it. And I have a young lady that is so passionate about this topic. And when I tell you passionate, you'll see for yourself. Her name is Michelle Grant, and I am so excited to bring her on today. So welcome to the show, everyone, Miss Michelle Grant, y'all.
Wait a minute. So I'm so excited to be here, Latasha. You are just so gorgeous and so I love you. I love you. I just love your energy. I love what you represent. And I'm so glad to see us Black women, really out here taking charge of things. And the thing is, a lot of us are head of our households, right?
Yeah.
In so many different ways. And so we have to learn and educate and take control of our legacies, our families, our communities. And with the things I'm going to share to you today, it's going to allow us to do that. Our communities need to be educated on what life insurance is. And I've been doing life insurance since, like I say, back when the real estate market went crashing, 2008, 2007. When you were showing up at settlements and they say, oh, the bank closed. Those days. That's when I made my transition. And I started looking into life insurance. And as I looked into it and I started learning about all the things that life insurance does, it became a passion for me, something that I want to educate a lot of people on. And there are new policies out here. They're not like your old policies, just for your life. They'll protect you if you die too soon, but it'll also protect you if you live too long. And what I mean by that is there are policies that give you what you call living benefits. And what are living benefits? Benefits that can assist you if something happened, right? If you happen to have a chronic illness, where you can't perform 2 of your daily living activities, or if you happen to have a critical illness or a terminal illness. And if you live too long, it also can give you tax-free income. And see, we don't think about taxes now, but generally taxes, as we get older, which way they go? They usually go up, right? Okay.
Correct.
Okay. So it's very important when we get older that we actually have what you call tax-free income. And these policies will allow you to do all of those things, along with also being a wealth building strategy. And with wealth, and I'm sure you've heard about private banking and infinite banking and all those different types of things. Well, life insurance will also allow you to do those things.
Well, we're going to talk about it tonight, Michelle,
Okay.
because like I told you guys, I don't even have to interview this young lady. She goes on and on about this very, very important topic. And I am so glad that she decided to be our guest tonight on such short notice. But we're going to talk about these different kind of policies and break it down so our people can really understand term by term that life insurance is really not just for our untimely demise. Like, people don't realize in our community that you can utilize life insurance while you are alive. You can borrow from that. You can build your wealth from that. And you can pass this along to your children to buy real estate investments and even grow your assets to a whole nother level. So this is what I want to ask you, Michelle. What are some different types of life insurance policies? I know I took some notes here, but I wrote down 4 that I want us to talk about. One is a universal life policy, which I think a few of us have heard about. We have index universal life, whole life policy, and term life. And I think most people, when we think about life insurance, we know there's a whole life, right? Where you can actually borrow from that policy, and term life is something where it's just at a set term. We don't have any funds to really access. So can you differentiate the differences between the two, and then the buckets that come underneath the whole policies and the term life policies?
Okay, I can do that. You're correct. There is what you call term. And with most term policies, it's from a certain amount of time. It could be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And with those policies, it just covers, you just get a death benefit if you should die. Now, some of these terms may have living benefits with it also that you can access, but at the same time, you're not building any cash value with those policies.
Okay. Term life, you cannot build cash value.
No cash value. Okay. Now, the other thing that they have, what they call permanent life insurance. Now, there's different types of permanent. Permanent means that These are policies that can go for your whole entire life. That's whole life. There's index universal, and then there's also universal life. And most whole life policies have what you call a guaranteed, a fixed rate of return that you can make on your money, let's say 4%. And then you have your universal and index universal, which will allow you to make money like in the stock market. You can get some of the gains, but you don't get any of the downsides of having like you would in the stock market. So what I love about those policies, you're able to build, get the maximum as far as making more in those policies. And if you fund it right, now the important thing is with these type of policies, you have to make sure that you fund them correctly. And that's when I sit down with each individual to see what it is that they want to accomplish. And then we put together a plan that will work for them. And that plan may be a little bit of universal index and a term. It may be a combination. It may be just term based on their income. And sometimes that's the strategy because you want to get some type of life insurance. As you said, there's a pandemic of GoFundMes. And my stress to people is that insurance is so easier to get. A lot of them, you don't have to go take blood anymore. You used to have to take a swab. You don't have to do that with a lot of policies. So it's easier to get policies, but it's very important to also have a good strategist because all insurance companies aren't created equal either. So as I said to you about having living benefits, where there's some insurance companies that will have 5 triggers. So you may have heart attacks, where another company may have 16 triggers that you can access that policy with. So that's where, I like to come in and help people and educate people as to all the different items out here that's available to them.
So I have a question. You said that there are life insurance policies, if you fund them properly, can be used to do other things as far as cash is concerned. So let's just say, for example, someone wanted to purchase $100,000 life insurance policy. Mm-hmm. Are you saying that this $100,000 policy or the term in itself is being invested into the stock market to help grow that actual policy? How do you mean by funding the policy?
Okay, so let's say you're getting a $500,000 policy or $100,000 policy. Mm-hmm. Well, the premium that you're paying each month, mm-hmm. a part of it is going towards the cost of life insurance. The other part of that premium is going to investment. Okay, on the investment part. So that's where your money. So part of it's paying for your actual death benefit, but the other part is being invested. And what's great about the index universal life policy, if you borrow against, so let's say you had your policy, you built up the cash in your policy, and you have about $50,000 cash in there, and you want to go buy a car. Okay, car costs $25,000. Well, with an index universal life policy, you can pull out that $25,000 tax-free, right? Tax-free. Don't have to tell Uncle Sam, don't have to claim it as income. You can take that tax-free. If you want to pay it back, you can. But if you don't, but guess what? Your policy will still be compounding and gaining interest as if that whole $50,000 was still there. And that is the beauty of one of index universal life policies, is that you can build cash, borrow against it, but still compound as if you never took the money out.
Wow. So in hearing this and learning this, it seems as if an index universal life policy would make more sense to actually consider getting versus a term life policy. Would there be a difference if someone when would someone choose a term life, which has no cash value, over an index universal life policy?
Well, it's somewhat different. Everybody's situation is different. So let's say I have a young person just got out of college, right? And they're like, I don't have a family, I don't have anyone right now. But the reason why I would get a term policy for them, because what they have going for them is their youth. They have their health going for them. So they can get a term policy and lock in their health, right? And they can convert it later without showing proof of insurability and get a permanent policy. Maybe they get an IUL. So as they start building and start maybe gaining a family, they already have it. But also that term policy could still have those, well, I told you, those living benefits
Mm-hmm.
in case they have an accident, in case they have a critical illness. They can still they can still pull from that policy while they're living, even though it's a term. Because there's some terms that have the living benefits on there. So what you said, what's the instance of someone getting a term? That's someone that maybe can't afford a long-term policy, but they can convert it later. And then also there's some instances where I may put together a policy where they have young children, so they want something to cover the mortgage, right? They may not need it for a long period of time. So let's say they have a $500,000 mortgage. Well, I might want to get a term policy just to cover that mortgage and get a 30-year term to cover that mortgage while they're, building their assets, building their wealth and things like that. And also have an IUL working for them to build money in. So those are instances where you might want to have a term policy.
Is that different from the mortgage protection insurance, or is it the same?
Well, let me say this. Sometimes you may get something in the mail and your mortgage company may say, we'll offer you mortgage insurance. Well, that insurance is called what you call a decreasing term. And it's called decreasing term because let's say your mortgage is $200,000. And they say, well, get this policy for $40 a month and it will pay your mortgage off if something that should happen to you. Well, let's say something happens to you 15 years later, you owe maybe $100,000. It would just pay off that mortgage. You've still been paying the same $40, and that's the only thing they're going to do. They're just going to pay off their mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if you got a term policy for, let's say, for $200,000, 15 years later, the breadwinner, something happens to them. Well, the family will still get $200,000. Okay, paying the same $40 a month.
So they'll use 100 to pay off the actual loan, and then
they'll have another 100 to do whatever they want to do with it. And let's say 15 years later, okay, let's say the person did not. I'm sorry, I'm in the office.
It's okay. It's okay, girl.
Yeah. So let's say someone does not have life in they don't happen to die. Well, they actually can use this policy. Let's say they have a heart attack or a stroke. Mm-hmm. They can still use that policy because when you have a heart attack or stroke, the bills are still due. And the bills are still coming in. They still do. They can still pull money from this policy to be able to pay for those bills, and get well.
And that can be a term life policy.
That can also be a term or a whole life policy. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow. So, I was so intrigued when I first met you, Michelle. We were on a panel with Greg Bennett. Well, I met you prior to that at a luncheon. Right. And, we were chit-chatting, and I was like mm-hmm. so intrigued by everyone at the table because literally you guys were so more educated than I was when it came to life insurance. And then when we were together on the panel, you were just really just so into it and educating people about this topic. And I was like, wow, Michelle is really amazing. How long have you been doing life insurance?
Since 2008, 2009.
Oh, wow.
I got licensed. Mm-hmm.
So have you been licensed as a realtor as long as life insurance?
No, I've been licensed as a realtor since, I always have to think about how old my son is, since 19. So he's okay. Since 1990.
Oh my God, Michelle.
Yes, yes, yes,
You
yes.
look amazing. Since
Oh my,
1990, you've
oh
been
my
licensed
goodness.
as an agent.
Yes, it's 1990.
Y'all, let's give
Mhm.
Michelle a hand clap for that. That's absolutely amazing.
Yes, yes.
So you know all about helping people and generating multiple streams of income. Do you look for other agents to educate, or do you just work with yourself?
Oh well, yes, I do. I have. I'm blessed to have people who want to learn and know, learn about the other things. So I do have a team of other agents that work. We work together, and as you know, with Big Life, we're about empowering people. My actual my little company, I call it Abundant Life Solutions, and I say that because God has meant for us to live our life abundantly, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay, for us to live abundantly. And is in this day and age, it's about working smart and not so much working hard and have our money working for us. And the thing is about youth. See, you don't need a whole lot of money if you got youth on your side, right? And if
hmm
we could teach people and help our youth, buy that instead of buying those Jordans, buy them a life insurance, a IUL, right? Policy for $25 a month, and you can help build and help that child. And then, setting up trust, what we call family trust, and make the trust the beneficiary, and then you can name how you want that trust to work in the family. See, this is how the Rockefellers made money. This is how the Rockefellers were able to transfer wealth from generation to generation, was through insurance policies. Okay, so this is where we have to educate ourselves. And see, before 1986, you used to be able to put a whole lot of money into a life insurance policy without it becoming a taxable event. Now they have different formulas now that you only can put so much, but this is where we help people strategize so they can put the maximum and fund it so that they can be able to have cash value, so they can be able to have generational wealth. So when they pass, people are becoming millionaires and not passing the pot around. Okay. So we can
yes.
start building and building our businesses, building our communities, educating people how to do things. So it definitely can be done through life insurance.
So let me ask you this: when people, like, say for instance, I didn't have life insurance, right? I
Mm-hmm.
reached out to you for a consult. You explain different policies to me, and I choose one. I begin to pay my premium. Let's say $25 every single month. Is there a time frame when the insurance company, like, say something happens to me? Is there a time frame that the insurance company gives me before I can actually utilize that policy? Does it take a little bit of time for it to
Well, let me
kick
say
in?
this to you. Soon as you do the policy, let's say you do an application, different insurance companies will give you what you call a temporary conditional receipt. So if you actually died the next day, okay, the insurance company may do their investigation, but you are covered. Okay, you're uncovered. But most insurance companies have what you call a 2-year, what they call contestability clause in there, meaning that within 2 years, if the insurance company wants to investigate, make sure that you didn't tell anything, didn't say anything wrong on your insurance policy, okay, and they can exercise that. Some do, some don't. It depends a lot of times on the death. Okay, so
Okay.
let's say if you get hit by a car, they're probably not going to look into it. But if you all of a sudden die from COPD and you just got the policy 2 weeks until 2 months ago, right? And you
Yeah.
didn't mention it. Well, but after 2 years, it doesn't matter. Okay. After 2 years, the insurance company is going to pay whatever the premium, the death benefit is. So
Okay.
that's another reason why want to not procrastinate in getting a policy. Someone said, I'm gonna go ahead and get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. But don't procrastinate because you want to start that clock. It's a 2-year contestability period.
Is it the same to build cash value with a policy? Like, say I wanted to get a UIL, how does it typically take? Like interest compounds. Does it take a while for you to build cash value?
Well, it depends on the person's situation, right? There's different ways we can strategize. So let's say an investor just he just made this money, right? He got $20,000. I can I can design the policy where he can put that lump sum in, and in 30 days be able to get, let's say, 15,000, pull it 15,000 out, right? There's some power, but you have to know how to design it. It's called what you call a premium deposit account. So what you do is you pay, part of it goes towards the premium, and then a part of it goes into a deposit account. Okay. Now, there's another way that you can do, if you want to just overfund it, maybe let's say just, pay $100 or $500 a month and put it in there in that account. Well,
Uh-huh.
we give you a schedule of how that money will grow. And usually within, I mean, if they wanted to borrow against it, there may be enough cash in there where they can borrow against it within a year. But it depends on each individual. Each individual situation, we'll look at it and explain to them what is it they wanted to do. Do you want to build cash quickly? Do you want more of a death benefit? And in the way we design it, if they want more cash value, then I'll design that policy so it can start building. You have less death benefit and more cash value, right? And we'll design it that way. But if they want more death benefit, then we'll just do a combination of things. So it depends.
Wow.
Mhm.
So it makes a difference on the actual insurance agent that you guys hire and consult with that really knows the ins and outs of all these policies. We have a question from Jermaine Gordon Michelle. He asked,
Uh-huh.
can you have multiple types of policies simultaneously?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can have a term policy. You can have 2 or 3 term policies if you like. You can have an accident policy. You can have a IUL. You can have a whole life. You can have as many policies as you like. Now, um, one of the things I recommend everyone, even if they have an insurance policy, is that even with my clients, I try to meet with them once a year, right? Let's say I do an IUL. We meet once a year to make sure that that policy is working the way you want it to work. Okay. Do we need to reevaluate it? Do we need to, because with the IUL, you can put it in the S&P. There's different vehicles that you can participate in to grow your money. Now,
What is an S&P, Michelle?
The S&P 500, just like the stock
Okay.
market.
Stock
Okay.
market. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So, or in the NASDAQ, there are different companies have different venues that you can participate in. Now, the reason why I say policy review, because I had a person, she told me that she had an insurance policy. I said, great, let me look at it. Guess what? It was an accident policy. And she didn't know that that policy will only pay if she dies in an accident. If she dies from natural causes, that policy will not pay her 1 red cent.
Wow.
And that's not, and I had a client actually that happened to her. Her husband died of cancer, and come to find out he had an accident policy. And then she told me to look at her policy, and she had the exact same thing. And unfortunate for her, she has cancer. So it was nothing I could really do but give her like a guarantee, like a final expense type of policy. But I encourage everyone, even if they have a policy with outside of work, I recommend everyone have a policy outside of work. That's the first thing, right? Because your job is not guaranteed to you. It may not be able to be transferred when you leave, and then you have to go get a new one, and maybe your health might change in that time while you're working. Okay. The second thing is, make sure someone looks and see what you currently have. I do policy reviews all the time. They may have it. They say, "Oh, Michelle, I'm good. I got 250,000," but they didn't know it was a term. Or in some instances, I met with people, the term was already over, and um, to convert it was really really high. To convert it, because even though you have a 20-year, let's say, term, they'll say you can renew it, but it's going to be at this real high price to renew it. So it's important to have some type of professional look over your policy and explain that policy to you. and see how it works.
So, a lot of people talk about pre-existing conditions, right? Are there life insurance policies available for people that do have pre-existing conditions?
Well, it depends on each. Let me tell you, nowadays, it used to be if you had diabetes or high blood pressure or high cholesterol, you may get what you call rated, meaning that your premium may be a little higher.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, with technology and things being controlled, someone with those health issues can get the same rate as someone who didn't have any health problems. It could be what you call the standard, and they can get the same rate as anyone else. So I would never say there's in some insurance policies are more lenient than others with certain conditions. I know a couple of companies that are more lenient with diabetes than because diabetes comes in so many. There's type 2, and then there's some
Yeah.
people where they just take a medicine, and some who take insulin,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And sometimes the insulin can trigger a different rate. And another insurance company say, "Oh no, we're going to treat you the same as anyone else." So those are things that I can help a person through. Kind of like I know which companies will better give them a better favorable treatment and favorable premium based on their health condition.
So
Mhm.
again, you guys, having an insurance agent that's very knowledgeable about these things is very, very important, because there are a lot of carriers, like insurance providers out here, and Michelle knows each and every one based on your particular need, and can match you with the one that makes perfect sense for you, right? So
Mhm.
listen, can someone buy or purchase life insurance without a death benefit attached to it?
Well, not really.
Okay.
Meaning that no, it's going to be some type of death benefit to it because that's the way the policies are set. But like you said, you're going to have cash to it. You can buy a life insurance policy that could strictly have just a death benefit, but why not have the hybrid of insurance policy, meaning that it has a death benefit, also can help you with live also, and also help you create a legacy, you know? And those are the hybrid type of insurance policies that we try to promote with our community and educate people on. And I love talking to young people. Um, it warms my heart when they're ready to do this, and then also to diversify. If you're putting money in your 401k,
Mm-hmm.
diversify, put in whatever your employer matches, but also put some money into a separate one, a IUL, to help build that tax-free money. Because see, with your 401k, you're not getting taxed on, you're putting in the seed, but you're going to be taxed on the harvest, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you put it into an IUL, right? Okay, you're going to be able to build later tax free. You're taking your already tax money and you're putting in something that's going to be able to give you tax-free income at a time that you're going to want tax-free income. Because Social Security, we don't know where it's going to be by the time our people may not even be here. But those are the things you need to look into and make sure that you prepare for, so that you don't have to pay taxes, certain taxes on different things. And like I told you, I sell Medicare too. See, these are the things that people need to understand, how Medicare works and how that works into retirement. If your income is a certain amount, you're going to pay more money for Medicare. So it's going to be very important that you don't have a whole lot of taxable income, because you're going to pay a lot more for your health insurance.
And
So
you're really paying yourself back at the end of the day, because life
Mhm.
happens to us, right? And this is monies, again, tax free, that we can use to do things
Yes.
that we don't have access to with our 9 to 5s or emergency funds that people don't save for. Life insurance helps you build that stability that a lot of people in our community don't even realize. And I
I'm
was talking with you earlier, Michelle, and I was
uh-huh.
really surprised that you said someone's premium can be higher than someone else's based on their credit score, because they're labeled as risky with someone that has bad credit. Let's talk about that.
Well, let me tell you this. The insurance company looks at several different things. They look at your credit. They also look at your, I hate to say it, but males pay more than females, right? Because they tend,
Wow.
because, you know, they're not quite as smart as we are. So, right? They don't make good decisions, right? But now, honestly, they tend to, you know, there's more women in nursing homes. They tend to die earlier, right? Okay, because we usually take better care of ourselves, right? We go to the doctor, get checked out, and then also they look at your script. What I say, your MIB, which is Medical Insurance Bureau, Medical Insurance, no, Medical Information Bureau, right? So if you ever, and this is one of the things I try to teach our people also, it's very important that, you know, don't allow your doctor to just prescribe you anything, right? And then you go fill it. And then you say, well, I ain't going to take that. But the thing is, it's on your record that you prescribed that and that it was filled, right? And if you're not going to take it, then don't get it filled, right? Because some prescriptions can affect you getting insurance because they know that those prescriptions may ruin your organs. And I'm gonna give you one example. One is called gabapentin, because when some of my clients have gabapentin, it immediately go whoop. It's a rate, right? Okay. And I had a client that said, why are you taking gabapentin? She said, well, my doctor just told me to take it. I said, well, do you have neuropathy? Do you have any pain? Well, just he gave it to me in case I get it. I'm like, really? I said, you should not be taking it, you know, just in case you get it. So there are people who have, and it's because I have to sit down with people. They may have 10 medications, and I'll say, what do you take that for? And most of them I kind of know. I say, okay, why are you taking 3 different types of high blood pressure medicine? You know, well, my doctor gave me, I said, well, why are you taking this? You know, and some of them, they don't know. They don't even know why they're taking it. So one of the things I would like to educate people on, when the doctor prescribes you something, why are you taking it? You know, and look into, you know, why you're taking it. You know, I had my fiance pass away. He took metformin for 20 years, and then they found out that metformin ruined his kidneys, and he ended up dying from kidney failure in 2020. So,
Wow.
you know,
So
it's important.
just like we have credit bureaus, we have a medical bureau that tracks our history, guys.
Right. Yeah, and it's called a script check too. So there's a medical bureau and a script check, right? The script check is about the prescriptions. Now, the other thing they also do is a MVA check, right? Okay, Maryland Vote.
MVA meaning
Motor Vehicles Administration.
Okay.
Okay. So a lot of companies, not all of them, but a lot of them, most of them, especially if you're talking about getting anything over $40,000, they do what you call an MVA check. So it's important that, you know, if you have reckless driving or DUIs or whatever, they can rate you or deny you for insurance. So this is another reason why I say get your kids a policy while they're sweet and innocent right now, right?
Yes.
Because you never know what may happen later. And the other thing is, unfortunate that if you have a felony, it's very hard to get insurance. Okay, if you have a felony, there's some insurance you can get a final expense or something like that, 30,000, 40,000. You know, that may not do what you call a LexisNexis check, and that's where they look into your history as far as court cases and things like that. But it's harder to get insurance that too. So see, these are things too that unfortunately we still struggle with in our community, right? And there's some reasons why people don't, but this is why. So I do have policies that we can do for people if they have felonies and things like that. You know, there are policies out here for them, but this is why there's importance that I want people to get something while things are good. And that's why, you know, if you get a term, get something to at least you can always convert it later. You know, you know, you can always convert it later. I mean, you can get yourself something and have yourself covered covered now for what you may spend on Netflix. Okay, you know what I mean? So sometimes we have to redirect our priorities, right? So
Absolutely.
it's instead of having Netflix and Hulu and all of those different things, those streams, stream yourself a premium, a life insurance premium. Make sure you get one to cover your life.
You never
So,
lied about that. And I will make a consultation appointment with you too, Michelle, because my son, I've had the Gerber whole life insurance policy for my son since he was 4 years old. He
wow.
is 24 now. So I'm sure there's some cash value in there that I don't want him to know about. But
Right, right.
definitely reevaluate these types of.
Yes, but let me tell you something we can do. I just did one for a client. We do what you call a, you know how in real estate you do a 1031 exchange?
Uh-huh.
You do it in life insurance, it's called a 1035 exchange. So you can take the cash value and put it into, sometimes you can buy a paid up policy where you might not have to, you might have enough cash in there, you might not have to pay another premium and it's paid up, right? So sometimes I've taken a policy, taken the cash from one and put it into a policy where they have those living benefits, where they can get the critical illness, the chronic illness, be able to build and take that cash from one policy and put it into another policy that does more for them. And that's another reason for policy review, because we may be able to do something like that, and it's called a 1035 exchange. Mm-hmm.
See, knowledge is power. Well, applied knowledge.
Yes, that's right.
You know, it's knowledge out there, but you have to apply it in order for it to work for you in your life.
Right.
So, Michelle, would you say that there is some type of policy out there for everyone?
For everyone. I mean, even people who may have, you know, AIDS, or that's what you call guaranteed issue, right? You may have a cancer right now. Those are what we call guaranteed issue. And what that means is this. You may have a premium, and let's say the premium is $100 a month, right? If you don't die within the first 2 years, then they'll pay that death benefit, whatever that death benefit is. And maybe it's $10,000. It's not going to be a lot of money, maybe 10, 20,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you happen to pass away before that time, it will pay your family back the premium plus 10%.
The premium that you've paid.
That they paid, right, plus 10%. Okay,
wow.
You can't get 10% in the bank, right? So there's some money put away. So there's something for everyone to get something, you know. It's just a matter of, and I always try to sit down and sit with people, find out what their priorities are, what it is that they want to accomplish, and to look at what they currently may have, you know. And then we also try to, a lot of people don't know how much insurance they really need. So we sit down and ask the questions, you know, if your husband died, what's his income? How much does it take to run your household, right? You know, do you want the kids to go to college? How much is daycare? You know, or even if a couple, the mother stays home, well, if something happens to her, you have to have somebody to take care of the kids, right? So we have to make sure that we put a budget, that money into something in case something happens, you know, because you can't replace her, but you got to replace what she did, what she does,
yeah,
you know, for the family. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
you
absolutely.
You know.
We have a ladybugger, Nia Morgan. She says, Michelle Grant, please message me. So what I'll do is I'll pass along her information to you, Michelle, so that you can reach out to her and she can.
I will, Miss Nia. I will definitely. It looks like I'm looking at her picture. Is that with a little person with her?
Well, yes, that's my good girlfriend. We went to school together.
Okay.
So I definitely know her personally. So I know you're not on Facebook. I'll definitely get her info.
I am on Facebook. Yeah. I am on Facebook. I just don't get on there as much. But I am on Facebook. As my whole name, Michelle Selena Grant. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I got to make sure I tag you in this video tomorrow so you can refer back and shout you out, because this has been a very educational forum. I had no idea life insurance had so many benefits inside of it outside of death benefits. And this is what our people are really missing, is this education and this knowledge to really do what other generations prior to us, have been doing for years and years and years.
Mhm.
Knowledge is definitely power.
Like you said, applied knowledge.
Applied knowledge is definitely power. Because I really do feel sorry for people that have to create GoFundMe's to bury their loved ones.
Mhm.
But if people would just hear this information and know, like, look, let's get our children insured, and let's
Mhm.
get them insured the right way, where not only we're having a death benefit, but we are actually building wealth while our children or ourselves are alive at the same time.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, we have a thing called $1 million baby, right? And we
Okay.
call it $1 million baby, meaning that we'll show, we can do an illustration to show. Let's say you got a policy and you pay $50 a month on this baby, and how you can borrow that. If you borrow money at different times, like if they graduated, took out money for a car, took out money for college, took out, let's say when they got 30, take out money for a wedding, right? How even where they can have tax-free income when they turn 60, 65, whatever year you want to put it, and show how you can work this policy for their life, for their whole life, and they can be able to add, and we'll let how much more you can put into it. Or let's say like your grandmother, like myself, if you wanted to just pay it for, I will show and say, okay, well, if you did $100 a month for 10 years and stop paying it, this is what this policy will do. Okay, we can sit down and show you those things. And if they choose to put more money, they could, but they at least have the vehicle, right? It's
Yeah.
the vehicle to be able to take them to the next stage. And the best thing we can do for our kids is not only have what you call property and assets, but it's that intellectual property that to me is the most important thing, is to teaching them and educating them on how to do these things, right? And start with them while they're young. Start right now, and instead of paying for that $50 game or whatever, or Xbox card or whatever it is that these kids do these days. I have a grandson, he'll say, yeah, grandma, can I get a $50 Xbox for what? But but instead of, what I mean, put that money somewhere where it can really help them.
Yes.
Those are the things. Those are the things that, and sometimes we don't do it only because we just not. It's not in front of us, right?
Mhm.
It's not our focus. It's not those conversations that we should be having on an ongoing basis. Not just during Insurance Month or Black History Month or whatever, Women's Month or whatever. These are conversations that we should be having on an ongoing basis, because guess what? Life is happening to us every single day.
Yes, and life insurance really is something that we all can afford. There
Mhm.
is a policy out there
Mhm.
that is affordable for everyone. I mean, we have so many expenses that we can just throw away to the side and put that towards, the most important thing, which is our lives, right? To
Exactly.
be able to just live freely and securely and confidently,
Right.
that my family is going to be taken care of in case of my demise. Wow.
Exactly.
Michelle, look, do you have any closing remarks for us? I mean, you guys, if you don't
Mhm.
see how passionate Michelle is, she really, really cares for people. And I am one to be able to notice and identify those people. And that's who I like to share with you guys on the Ladybug Show. I want to make sure we're making an impact for you to have an impact in your life and share this information with others. So, Michelle, what's one key or one thing you can share with us as a
Wow.
nugget?
It's a nugget. Let me just say this to you. How can I say it? One of my philosophies is this: is is to I'm grateful for everything, right? And I wake up every day being grateful. And with that grateful heart, you're not looking at what you don't have, right?
Mhm.
Or not looking, so you can look at it, you wake up with that excitement, right?
Mhm.
And creating every single day. So people may look at our circumstances and say, oh, I can't do this. But see, that's not what you focus on. You got to focus on where you're going. And some that's why you may say, I don't have the money right now. I don't care. I'm not in this for the money. I'm in this to educate people. I want you to be able to add this on your roadmap. You know, you got to have a blueprint to where you want to go. If you want to get to California, you got to have a roadmap, and just make sure that you have insurance as part of that roadmap and part of that blueprint for your life. And that's what I just have to say with that.
You know, I'm a piggyback off of that and say, when you unselfishly help other people without the expectation of something in return, the abundance of your blessing is just, wow, it's priceless. So I feel your energy. I feel your compassion. I feel your realness, Michelle. And Ms. Motina says, you know, we're absolutely correct that we need to have these types of conversations at home regularly.
Yes.
We don't talk about this regularly, and it needs to be something that we talk about as often as possible, as young as possible.
Mm-hmm. And one more thing I want to add. I'm saying this because this happened to a very good friend of mine, and this is why I'm saying talk about it regularly. A lot of people don't want to ask. I had a girlfriend whose mother passed, and I asked her about her mom's policies, and you know, she told me, and you know, I'm not saying her name, so don't get mad. I didn't say your name, okay? But the thing is that the policies were still in the beneficiary was still in her father's name, and her father been dead for years. Okay?
Wow.
People don't understand how that affects things based on a policy that could end up. You may have to go probate the father's estate again because now it's part of the estate. You see what I'm saying? And which tax income insurance is a tax-free thing, but now you're gonna have to put it towards an estate, which now probate is gonna cost you money, right? So I say this to people: even if you have a policy, make sure that the beneficiaries, right? You know, you
At the least are alive.
Are alive, you know, and
Yes.
contingent. I'm serious, you know. I mean, I can't tell you. I have a good friend of mine who's a funeral director, and he said, Michelle, that happens more often than you can ever imagine. I had this conversation with him. He said, you can't believe how many people have beneficiaries that are already deceased on their policies. So
what happens in a case like that? You said it goes to probate?
Yeah, depending on how the life insurance is written, okay. A lot of times it has to go through probate, right? So that means that father's estate has to be reopened, or probate has to be reopened, and then the money has to go there, and then you have what you call the right of succession as far as their heirs are concerned, and then go to each of the heirs. But money that would have been tax-free, it just went. And so, and if you were depending on that money to bury that person, not happening.
Yeah, that's even more stress to the family because now that's an out-of-pocket expense, and now everyone's fighting and fussing and arguing and cussing, and you know, and it takes 3-4 weeks to bury your loved one because of that.
Exactly. So, I'm if I can reach anyone to say, if you have a loved one, because I deal a lot with Medicare people, and I ask them, have you updated your policy? Oh yeah, you know what? My husband was on there. Her husband been dead 10 years. Her husband's still on her beneficiary as her beneficiary.
But those are things we don't think about.
And sometimes the kids don't want to bring it up, right? Well, I don't want to talk about that, talk about the money. Well, you should talk about it because it's going to end up in your lap, right? Okay. So, we can't be afraid of what we know is inedible. Just talking about it is not going to make it happen, right? Because guess who's in control? God's in control, right? Right.
Amen.
So us having that conversation is not going to make it happen. So some of us feel like, I don't want to talk about death because then I feel like they're going to make it happen. No, it's not. No, it's not. Those things you resist persist, right? Right. And the best thing you can do is just feel the fear and just do it anyway. Right?
Yeah.
You know,
Look, my mother-in-law, she has written her obituary already. You know, she has definitely planned for it. And it made me think like, wow, maybe I should, begin doing that too. I started to think about, well, what do I want to bury myself in? Do I even want to be buried? Am I going to get cremated? These are questions that we don't think about, but it
right.
really brought up the top of the conversation to my husband, like, well, what do you want to do? Let's talk about
Exactly.
it. It's
I'm
going
gonna
to
tell
happen,
you,
right?
my mom wrote me a letter, which was kind of, she said, and my mom died at 53. So, but she already wrote out her obituary, and she actually told me, had a thing for me to do, how she wanted me to do it, wanted me to make sure I included my brothers so they wouldn't feel like they weren't a part of anything, because she knows I'm going to take control because I want it done right. So I'll do it all.
Yeah.
So, and so she kind of had a personal note to me, said, I know you're going to be the one taking care of all this. And, and it gave me some peace, because I used to hate, my mother used to make me do everything. She never had made my brothers do anything because she knew they weren't going to do it right. But the thing that was most important to her, she knew I was going to do right, and she wanted me to do it. And it took that resentment away, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, yeah, she got me, she want me to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the best love letter, right, that you could possibly do, is to, so they wouldn't have to worry about what to say. I actually have a thing in my phone, it says pictures for my funeral, right? So they ain't got to go look for no pictures. I'm like, and I try to update it, because I notice as I get older, it started looking different. So I'm like, okay, let me add some more pictures in there. But just putting things I like. Yeah, and believe it or not, some of these homes, because when you do a what you call a death certificate,
Uh-huh.
you need to know their maiden name, right? Where they grew up. I can't tell you how many people can't say that. I don't know what mama's maiden name, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what she go. And it's like a book you could put down. Because I used to sell, I actually sold real estate 6 feet under. I used to work at Fort Lincoln. And we had like a book that we would put together.
Fort
You
Lincoln
could put,
Cemetery.
yep,
Uh-huh.
I
Okay.
used to sell plots there. And so that you can be able to put all the things that like your birth certificate, where you were born, your social security number, if they were in the military, their military, their DD-14, all of that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
have it all in one place, so that your loved ones can be able to have that, you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
those are very important things to have also. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And these
Absolutely.
are conversations that I kind of have with the people when we're doing these things, because you're not planning to die. You're planning, because we're doing something in case you die, but we also in case something else happens, right? If you happen to have an accident, you have something to be able to pay you. If you have a stroke, things like that. Like I said, I had a brain aneurysm 3 years ago and a stroke. And when I was in rehab, there were people in there younger than me. Half of the people in there were younger than myself, because they either had a stroke, motorcycle accident, bicycle accident. Um, and and I was so blessed that I could be able to move around and talk. But there were a lot of people that had to learn how to talk. They had to learn how to walk. They had to learn how to eat. Um, and I just consider myself so blessed that to be able to do more of those things. And I had something in place. If I needed to tap into that, I could, you know. But some of those people didn't have that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
There are so many of us that are dying at a younger age at an alarming rate. Like the parents are now burying the kids, and we just have to get ourselves prepared. You got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And
Well, you know what they say luck is? Luck is just preparation met with opportunity, right? Okay.
mhm,
And it's just about being prepared, you know,
absolutely.
just being prepared. And that's the one detail of our life. We all know, you ain't gonna get out of here alive, right? You
Right.
know? We all know that, you know, and it's just
Right.
the quality of our lives is important, you know, and this is where we can help the quality of our kids' lives, the quality of our lives. I don't want to be a hindrance to my children. You know, I don't want them to have to worry about money or how to bury me, you know, even though I'm gonna be cremated. So, but it's not gonna, but there's still other expenses, right? There's still other expenses that have to be taken care of. So,
Yeah. And funeral it's not cheap.
mm-mm.
It is not cheap, you guys. So listen, I hope you guys enjoy our show on today.
Yes.
I really, really enjoyed you, Michelle. If you guys want to book a personal consult with Miss Michelle Grant, is the best way to email you, Michelle?
Yeah, just send me an email. Yes, definitely. And just put their information in there.
So
Yes.
Michelle's email, you guys, is insurance for anyone at gmail.com. We got to have these hard conversations sooner rather than later so that you and your family are prepared for the inevitable. We're not going to get away from it, you guys. So we might as well get prepared and build some wealth at the same exact time. That's the whole goal of today's show. So Michelle, we thank you so much.
Thank you, Latasha. I am so excited. I am so excited, and I can't wait to sit down and meet with you. And it's just I just love this. I just love this. You know, I'm usually a background type of person. I don't like to be in front of the people and everything, but you know, I like doing this. I like, you know, doing this. This was great.
I can tell. I can absolutely tell. We love you. The Better says great information. Thank you so much for tuning in.
You are welcome. You are welcome. Anytime, Latasha.
All right. Well, we'll be in touch. I will send you Miss Nia's information as well. And have a great week.
Okay, then. Take care. Bye-bye, everyone.
You guys, that concludes our episode. I don't even know what episode we on, child. I think that might be episode 20. We on almost 20 of the Ladybug Show. And I learned a lot on today. I hope you did too. So if you guys are enjoying the Ladybug Show and love the information that I am just trying to put out there in front of you to help us just really grow to the next level. You know, death is, again, it's inevitable for all of us. And it's a conversation that a lot of us don't want to talk about or have, but we got to have this conversation because it's going to happen to us someday. And we don't know when that day will be. So we got to be prepared for it. And why not build wealth at the same time to ensure you're not leaving your family in debt? Okay, we don't want to do that, you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this show. If you did, show some love and share this feed. Somebody needs to hear this information. Click that share button and share it all across Facebook, YouTube, so that we can empower our community about how you can live life right now through life insurance. Okay, you can also support me by going to YouTube. Follow me at Grow with Latasha 777, and I really appreciate all your love and free support. Look, if you guys know of a guest or would like to be a guest on the Ladybug Show, shoot me an email, growwithlatasha@gmail.com, or DM me directly on Facebook at Latasha Ladybug. You guys, that's our show for the evening. I appreciate your attentiveness and tuning in. With that being said, we gone. Peace.